You had a fascinating exchange with Tyreek Hill last week. You raised the factual point that he hadn't had a 30-yard catch in a calendar year. He didn't seem to appreciate being reminded of that. He had
He
a
didn't know.
47-yard catch on Sunday. Yeah, and I don't really think one 47-yard catch changes the issue. There's something's off here, and I never bought Omar his world apology tour the week of the Super Bowl when he's trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube over everything he said after Week 18 last year. I just think he knew he had no other option, and he was going to try to make it work, and it's not working. I mean, I feel like separate and apart from whatever happens with Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier is what happens with Tyreek Hill, because I don't think he's going to be on that team come the trade deadline unless things turn around quickly.
I don't disagree with you, and I'm on. It's funny to watch your stories and then Adam Schefter's stories, two stories completely conflicting one another. And I know where the truth is. The truth is Tyreek will probably be traded by the trade deadline because there are teams that want Tyreek, teams that can make cap space to have Tyreek, and these are title-contending teams. He could be, without a doubt, a finishing piece for the Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, because think about it. Kansas City, they could benefit from having Tyreek back in the fold. And the reality is Tyreek knows this is his last year under this contract. There's no way he's getting paid $35 million from this organization. He'd have to restructure it. And last week, he said all the right things. He's on his best behavior. Last week he went into the game. He's like, "Oh, I'm handling punts." Why is he handling punts? Because Tyreek wants to win, but he also wants to showcase all the things that he could do to a prospective team that's like, we're right there. And truthfully speaking, if we're at a gut this situation, it's probably benefit Miami to trade Tyreek and a couple of other pieces, because if we're going to restart this thing, it's time to get some assets, and Tyreek is the key to getting some assets. And I don't think there's going to, despite what's going on in his life and his divorce and all the negative stuff that's put out there, Tyreek is not a bad guy, and Tyreek can help an NFL team win.
And the Dolphins get nothing if they cut him. You don't get a compensatory draft pick for a guy you cut. Anything they're going to get for Tyreek Hill is going to come from another team between now and the Tuesday after Week 9. And I'm with you. And I understand. Look, I said earlier in the week, I don't doubt the accuracy of what Schefter's saying. I don't think anybody's made a phone call yet, but that doesn't mean they're not going to. And how many times do we have to hear a team say we have no plans to trade a guy and then trade a guy before we realize saying no plans doesn't mean anything? It doesn't mean anything. If anything, it's the precursor to the trade.
Yeah. I don't think it's a phone call. People have definitely had conversations about Tyreek from when we're going from February to, like, Miami knows who has interest in Tyreek. And when you get to the point where you're shopping him, and we don't even know who's going to be shopping him, to be honest with you, because is Chris Grier making it through the entire season? And if he does, why? I bring up the point all the time that I'm not sure Chris Grier isn't going to be reshuffled somewhere else in the organization. And why? Because he knows where the bodies are buried in the Brian Flores lawsuit. And
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
And now that it's gone to arbitration with Roger Goodell, I would rather Chris Grier continuing to collect checks and be employed by me, so that maybe I'm protected, as opposed to, let's fire this guy so it's how you treat Chris Grier has always been something that's a very handle with care. And that's a situation that I don't think is going anywhere as long as this Brian Flores situation continues to linger.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because one of the elements of the Brian Flores case is this argument that he was told in 2019 you'll get $100,000 for every game you lose, and the defense is it was a joke. Well, if that's the case, it would help Stephen Ross to have somebody to back him up. And Chris Grier is one of those guys that can maybe tip the scale one way or the other on that very important point of whether he was serious or whether it was all one big joke for which the punchline has never been and never will be obvious. That's an excellent point. That's going to be a PFT story at some point today. You're giving me content today, Omar. This is good. This is great because I got my brain's working on all the stories I can post coming out of the stuff you're saying. And
you know what? It's
you know how it goes.
Oh, I know how it goes. And now that the courts have put it into Goodell's court in arbitration, that lone point, it gets to be handled by Goodell, and the contract gets to be handled by Goodell. But the lawsuit is still a class action lawsuit in the courts. So no matter how you handle this situation, that's still admissible in court. I put you on the stand.
Well done, Omar. And I will share one little nugget as it relates to teams interested in Tyreek Hill. I heard this the other day and I haven't had a chance to mention it. My understanding is the Steelers were, but they're not anymore because Mike Tomlin is concerned about what happens with this personal conduct policy investigation. Is there going to be a photo? Is there going to be a video? Is there going to be something that Tyreek Hill gets suspended for? They don't want to trade for him and then lose him, which is not an unreasonable position for a team to take because why do you want to give up a third-round pick next year and have a guy come in and you raise up everyone's hopes and then he's gone in November?
That's a very excellent point. I think that's probably the question is if there was a photo or a video, would it have come out already? And we don't know on that situation. From what I understand, this is about lawyer fees and I'm just, it's a horrible situation to be in for everybody involved. And I'm sure Tyreek is going to do whatever he has to do to make it go away because it impacts his.
Omar,
and I love the point that you made, which was he in his press conference he reminded people, this is how I feed my family.
And that's the message. Stand down. You're affecting my ability to provide for you and our kids. I mean, and as soon as I saw that providing for my family, if she cooperates with the NFL, she directly impacts his ability to do that and indirectly impacts her ability to benefit from it. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality because the NFL can't force anyone to cooperate. So if she doesn't cooperate, that investigation goes nowhere, and a team that acquires him via trade, as a practical matter, won't have to worry about him being suspended, at least for that, over the balance of the season. Omar, excellent stuff. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.